There are whispers that never make it into history books, stories that tremble beneath palace floors and echo behind centuries-old tapestries. This is one of them. In 1991, a dying nurse left behind a sealed letter, hidden inside an antique music box. In it, she made a shocking confession. She had helped deliver a baby inside the royal residence without witnesses, without records, and under direct orders. The mother, Queen Alexandra herself. The problem, the Queen was never known to have given birth that year, or any year at all. What began as a cryptic tale dismissed by royal insiders would 3 decades later be ripped wide open by DNA. Margot Sinclair wasn't a historian, not officially. She was a royal archivist, a keeper of documents, dates, and dust. Her job wasn't glamorous, and that suited her just fine. But when she found a crumbling folder misfiled behind a shelf labeled Foreign Visits, 1991, her entire world changed. The folder contained fragments, a photo of a newborn wrapped in royal linens, a page from a hospital intake ledger with a name redacted in ink, and a stamped envelope marked "Burn upon Death, 1991. She didn't burn it. She opened it. Inside was the confession of Nurse Agnes Holloway, a woman who had served in the Royal Medical Wing for 40 years. She wrote, "Her Majesty begged me not to document it. The child was born in pain and silence at 3:12 a.m. No birth certificate, no celebration, just a mother sobbing into my apron. I held the baby. Oh, I saw the crown-shaped birthmark on his shoulder." Margot didn't believe in conspiracies, but something about the nurse's letter chilled her to the bone. She dug deeper. Queen Alexandra ascended the throne at 29, young, dignified, and burdened by a nation expecting an heir. For decades, her childlessness became the subject of cruel headlines and tabloid rumors. What no one knew was this: Alexandra had fallen in love once before her marriage to Prince William during her university years in Edinburgh. His name was Callum Reid, a literature professor 12 years her senior. Their affair was intense, hidden, and inevitably ended when duty called, or so it was believed, but court documents revealed that during a state visit to Balmoral in late 1990, Alexandra mysteriously disappeared from public view for 8 weeks. The official explanation was exhaustion, but that wasn't the whole truth. Miles Carter never knew his parents. Abandoned on the steps of a convent in Suffolk in 1991, he grew up in foster homes, always feeling misplaced. His features were refined, his accent naturally posh. Even his handwriting mirrored that of royal correspondence he'd seen in school. By his 30s, Miles was a quiet man, a rare book dealer with no real family, no past until his wife gifted him a DNA ancestry kit on his birthday. The results were supposed to be a novelty. Instead, they were a revelation. His genetic profile matched markers associated with *** direct royal lineage. At first, he assumed it was a fluke. But when a distant cousin and actual minor royal appeared on the relative match list, everything changed. Miles began searching, and that search brought him to Margot Sinclair. When Margot received Miles' message, she didn't respond for 2 weeks. She was terrified. If what he said was true, if the DNA test was real, then Nurse Holloway's letter wasn't fiction, it was prophecy. They agreed to meet in secret at a cafe in Winchester. Miles brought everything: DNA results, photos of the birthmark crown-shaped and unmistakable, and his own baby blanket, embroidered with the royal crest. Margot brought the documents, the confession, the redacted hospital record, and one other thing: a recording of a phone call made from a secure royal line in 1991. Labeled Private, Holloway. The voice was soft. It was Alexandra. "The child will have no name, no future, but he will be safe. Tell no one. Not even William can know." Miles wept, not from sadness, from relief. For the first time in his life, his identity began to take shape. The legal implications were staggering. Miles was born in 1991. Queen Alexandra married Prince William in 1994. If Miles was her child conceived before marriage, he would technically be illegitimate. But under revised royal succession laws, updated in 2013, the line of inheritance prioritized birth order, not marital status. For those born after the changes were enacted, legal experts were split. Some argued that Miles, as the Queen's biological son, had a rightful claim not to the throne, but to recognition, inheritance, and the royal surname. Others said the monarchy's immunity from public law rendered such claims meaningless, but public sentiment wasn't so easily swayed. When the story leaked to the press, likely by someone in Parliament, the world erupted. Buckingham Palace denied everything. There is no basis, legal or genealogical, to support the claim regarding Mr. Miles Carter, but the denial was weak. And investigative journalists were already tracing timelines, hospital staff records, and forensic genealogists who confirmed Miles' DNA was a 99.98% match *** with Queen Alexandra's younger sister. The Prime Minister called for discretion. The Queen remained silent, but one person did not, an aging former royal footman named Reginald Payne. He gave an anonymous interview to the BBC. "I remember the night. The Queen was screaming in pain. Holloway ran through the corridors like a ghost, then silence, and the next morning nothing, like it never happened." The cracks in the story were becoming impossible to hide. Miles didn't want the throne. He said it every time. He wanted answers, a name, a place to belong. But as the public devoured the drama, the question evolved: if a secret child existed, what else had the monarchy hidden? Polls showed that 42% of Britons believed Miles should be given a royal title. Others called for DNA testing of Queen Alexandra herself, now in her 70s and increasingly frail. In a rare televised address, the Queen finally spoke. "There are matters of the heart and matters of the crown. Not all are meant for the public eye. I have carried burdens silently for my country, for duty, for love. Let history be the judge." She never confirmed. She never denied. A month later, royal historian leaked an internal memo. It revealed that, shortly after Alexandra's Balmoral retreat, a sealed birth certificate had been created in the royal archives labeled Infanta. 1991. It listed only a mother's name, Alexandra Windsor. That same week, Miles was invited to the palace, quietly, privately, no media, no lawyers. He emerged 2 hours later, pale, speechless, tearful. What happened inside remains unknown. But a week later, the palace released a new statement. Mr. Miles Carter is acknowledged as a private citizen with ancestral connections to the royal household. No title will be bestowed. No inheritance claimed, but the Queen wishes him peace in knowing who he is. Miles released no public comment. Miles now lives in Cornwall, far from the tabloids, in a cottage overlooking the sea. He owns a bookstore, quiet, serene, and goes by ***. Miles Reed ***, adopting his biological father's name. He received no crown, no wealth, but in the end, he received something far greater, the truth, and the world was left to wonder how many other stories lie buried in royal silence. Sometimes the crown doesn't weigh heavy on the head that wears it, but on the heart that was never allowed to.